Hey everyone, I'm Charting Man Dan, trader and technical analyst with the Chart Guys. In this video, we're going to check in on the markets after a very bullish day. Just like that, we're back to some FOMO as we saw a bullish reaction to some fundamental economic data with the JOLTS info from this morning. We also had a big headline come out in the crypto space. Let's see how markets are shaping up. All right, got to be fairly quick today as we are putting on a webinar about bag holding here in an hour. So the S&P 500, I was anticipating the most likely scenario was a daily lower high and tightening range into the end of the week. And the bulls said, nope, they got the jolt from the JOLTS data, job opening, listing, something, job openings. And the takeaway from that is that the employment market is potentially weakening a little bit, which is what the Fed wants to see to essentially stop raising rates. That's one of the factors. So the market is responding bullish to the fact that the employment market is potentially weakening a little bit. But that now gave us our daily uptrend confirming the S&P 500 futures chart. The NASDAQ is trying to get there as well. We had a little bit further to go and not as convincing a bull break on the NASDAQ, but for both of them, the weekly bounce is underway. And we've been watching for this because we know bigger picture on the 3-month time frames to dictate what we expect heading into 2024. This weekly chart is going to be critical for September. It's either a monthly bull flag, again, a cup and handle on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, under the all-time high, trying to form a monthly bull flag, and that's if the low holds. So the simple statement there is if the current low on SPY of 433 holds, it's a bull flag. And the other scenario is what I've got drawn right there. If we confirm a weekly downtrend, we zoom out to the 3-month time frame, and we then have a 3-month tightening range, which can take the majority of 2024 to resolve itself. So this is critical. We're setting the stage for next year. And the good thing for the bulls is retracement size. At this point, we have already gotten back 65%, 63% of the drop, which means there is the potential of a third scenario where we fail the all-time high. Nope, we failed the recent high, but we pull back and have space for a weekly high or low and tighten up for a good bit of September. That's on the table as well. What is our guide as we're scouting a weekly lower high as a possibility? The guide is a daily uptrend. So next time we consolidate, we've got space for a daily higher low to form. Bulls with significant space over the recent higher low of 435. Next resistance, we're looking at 451.70 and 452.90 as a couple levels to be watching. Hourly uptrend is our guide. We didn't see any hourly consolidation today. It was pretty much just full steam ahead bull day. And you can see when the JOLTS came out here, look at that volume spike at 10 a.m. and the bulls did not look back from that point forward. And so looking at the NASDAQ, let's measure our retracement size. It's a little bit different, but again, the setup is the same. No, it's about the same. Retracement size as well. So we've bounced now. And again, this past couple of weeks has been tricky because we have gone from fear to FOMO to one day of fear again and now FOMO again. There is a lot of back and forth. But the bigger picture weekly time frame is going to help us sift through this sentiment that does keep changing on a dime. And again, the daily uptrend is our guide. If we lose the daily uptrend, it's the first indication of a daily lower high, or a weekly lower high, excuse me. But again, we're going to be anticipating that a daily higher low is the result of next consolidation. And I still have some hedges on right now, which I'm going to be looking to ditch the next consolidation, but I'll also be looking to jump right back in them if we get signs that a weekly lower high is shaping up. And that's with regards to my IRA longer term positions. Big news out of crypto. So a ruling in favor of GBTC, which was essentially going after the SEC and saying, you turned down our ETF in an unfair manner. And the ruling sided with them. So what that did today is significantly shifted probabilities for a Bitcoin ETF to be approved. And we're going to get a decision potentially on Friday, and the decision can be delayed, or we can get a yes or a no. And so that's something to be watching for as well. I was live streaming this morning. Thanks for those of you that tuned in. And it's, the unfortunate that it happened while I was live streaming, because if I'm live streaming, I'm not in my aggressive mode. And the reason is because things are not perfectly aligned for me because there's distractions. And if I'm not live streaming, I'm in the zone. So it's the kind of news that, I would have been market buying significant positions right when that news hit. But that's the way it goes. So hopefully some of you were able to pounce on that. We could see after that initial news came out, we did get lots of follow through. And where we stand now is the weekly Bitcoin bounce has the weekly on Bitcoin bounce is underway. And it's a wide range here where we got our low, high, higher low. I'm viewing this as just a big old equilibrium, and we'll see if we get a lower high and continued tightening range. MARA stood out more than peers. Riot up 17%, Coin up 15%, GBTC, which is the company that benefited from the ruling, they were up 18 or 19%. But MARA, I don't know if it was, they did have higher short interest than Riot. Whatever the reason, MARA was up almost twice as much, 29%. So MARA, a clear lead bull on that move today. And it was also the fact that, Fidelity ran out of shorts to short MARA very quickly, but had 5 million shares of Riot to short. So that was a factor as well, perhaps less shorts available. But a significant win for the crypto bulls, and that's a headline now that we're going to have to keep an eye on for that potential ETF. And these names, we're definitely going to be looking for hourly higher lows to be the result of next consolidation tomorrow. SMH Semiconductors, still possible to set a daily lower high, anything under 156.59. Hourly uptrend will remain our guide there. Just like most names after today, we've got a lot of space for an hourly higher low to form as the result of next consolidation. And NVDA putting on a show for the bulls. After a quick little hourly higher low set, bulls just ran all day again. And just like that, we're knocking on the door of the all-time high. This is the all-time high close right now. And now it's just a question into tomorrow. Do we set a lower high on the daily compared to 503? Or can bulls keep control? If I'm a bear, I want to see a gap up on NVDA to short for an initial rejection of 500 into hourly consolidation. It's possible NVDA heads to new all-time highs. Again, as I've been talking about, there is nothing wrong with the longer-term structure of this chart at this point. Overvalued, whatever you want to say, that's fine. But the price chart, there are no red flags on the longer-term timeframes right now. Google, standing out as a lead bull. Weekly continuation of its uptrend, 52-week highs for Google. And we're watching the Amazon weekly uptrend trying to follow through as well. So long story short, some economic data leading to bulls following through significantly on their daily bounce. And now we've got daily uptrends on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. We've got hourly and daily uptrends as our guide. We're keeping an eye out for a weekly lower high. We're making note that we've already bounced over 60% retracement, which is favoring the bulls. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. Hourly uptrend is our guide. Tesla, huge day for the bulls. So I'm still in my swing position from the gap down day. And the thesis was that daily oversold may mark our monthly higher low for continued uptrend. And again, trading is hard, but there are times where you can look back and say, the last daily oversold, a gap down, marked the monthly higher low. Maybe it's happening again. And I was looking to add to that position, and I was trying to add in the 232 to 235 range on the hourly consolidation yesterday. Talked about that a bit on the swing report, but we failed to get to that zone by 35 cents. So no ad for me, but going to give the bulls a chance to set the monthly higher low. At this point, Tesla's retracement on the weekly is over 50%. So again, even if we set the lower high, which is the most likely scenario on the weekly, then we've got space for a higher low because of the bounce retracement size. So adding that one into the long-term positions and just going to walk up the stop. I'll put my stop right now under 226. And unless there's big gap down news, risk-free. Healthcare broke the bounce high. That's a good sign for the bulls. Weekly equilibrium. This is going to be one to watch in September as well. High, higher, low, lower, high, higher, low. Constricting range. Possible we set another weekly lower high and keep tightening up. But the direction that this breaks is going to be a piece of the puzzle that we're going to factor in with everything else when we're trying to determine, is the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ a monthly bull flag or a weekly setting up for a downtrend? The financial sector also broke its bounce high. Weekly bounce underway, same deal. Do the financial sector bears confirm a weekly downtrend or not? There are a number of names where a weekly lower high is the most likely scenario. KRE is one of them. Regional banks, tons of space. We can bounce another 10% and look for a weekly lower high. So we're not going to forget, you need to determine, what do you care most about? Do you care most about the hourly uptrend as a short-term bull, the daily uptrend as a swing trade bull, or the possibility of scouting weekly downtrends? That might be in 3 days. That might be in 8 trading days. It all depends on how long the bulls are able to maintain this daily uptrend. IWM, also getting to the bounce high. We mentioned the importance of the financial sector in IWM. So weekly bounce underway here as well. And again, same thing. There's a ton of space for a weekly lower high to potentially be the most likely result of this bounce. Solar sector, this long-term support, the lowest level in years of 55.54. We built a base of support off of it, and then bulls were ready to go today. Big move up. The break was at 57.06. And bulls followed through significantly with an extra 3% plus from that break. Weekly bounce underway. Yet again, another name with a ton of space for a weekly lower high, but a nice play off of support for aggressive bulls. ARKK, one of the more bullish days of the year. Percentage-wise, up over 5%, about 5.5%. There's been a few 5 to 6% days this year, but daily uptrend confirmed. Again, same thing. There's a lot of space for a weekly lower high here. So while bulls are back in the driver's seat getting all gung-ho, we're not going to forget that over the next couple of weeks, we will extremely likely set weekly lower highs in a lot of these sectors. It's just a question of how much bounce do we get first. Chinese names following through, second gap up open in a row. Again, they've had their headlines. Weekly bounces are underway there. Still not going to forget the BABA monthly. I mean, it's been a pause month. We've paused and traded sideways, but it is still a monthly inverse head and shoulders. But in my opinion, that's got to be an S&P 500 NASDAQ heading to all-time highs situation if we're going to start to get confidence in the Chinese markets to see this happen. We know there's been a lot of negative sentiment around the Chinese markets recently. They've taken some measures over the last week. The headlines have helped this bounce. But I do think we need to see the broader market back to highs if that sentiment is going to continue to be okay for the Chinese sector bulls. And XPEV continues to be a lead name in that sector. NIO had an earnings reaction that was bearish, but bulls bought the dip thanks to the market. Significant strength today. But again, XPEV much stronger than NIO. The dollar finally losing uptrend support on the 12-hour. Now it's all about 103. So if 103 breaks, weekly consolidation is underway. We know we've been watching this for a while. This would be bullish metals, equities, crypto. And so already all three of those things seeing real bull days while the dollar dropped. And I'd say this is the most bearish dollar day that we've seen in at least a few weeks. I do want to see an hourly downtrend confirm as the result of the next bounce. But it's looking like this is the top. This needs to be the weekly top if you're a metal or crypto bull. And so with that, gold didn't have follow through yesterday on the daily bull break, but getting it today. And again, keep an eye. I said it a month ago, 5 weeks ago. Keep an eye on the metals market for the proximity of gold to all-time highs. And then we took a step backwards, and that, extended how long it's going to take if we get back to all-time highs. But sentiment remains the same. We may get a hype market in metals. Essentially, we would need the dollar to retrace. The last thing the bulls would want to see is the dollar confirm a weekly uptrend. We need the dollar to retrace over half of the bounce that we just saw the last 7 weeks. If that happens, if the dollar does not confirm a weekly uptrend and keeps fading into the end of the year, then the metals can see a bull market. And then we'd be watching the miners and the leveraged miners. And when I look around markets, where is the potential of the highest opportunity right now, the most significant opportunity? Uranium names are up there because CCJ has no resistance, very limited resistance, hitting 16-year highs or whatever it is. But the metals are there as well. Crypto has to go 200% to get back to, no, I guess not. Crypto's got to go 150% from here to get back to, previous highs. And there's just a lot less distance to cover for the metals. And again, anything that has proximity to all-time highs, you keep an eye on it because we know things can get nutty in blue sky breakout. So don't sleep on the metals. Gold is still a possible monthly cup and handle as long as monthly EMA 12 keeps holding. It became a lot less likely the last few weeks, but it is still possible. And so with that, we know silver has been stronger. Silver following through with the daily bull flag. Silver's looking back. 25.27 is 2.5% away, and that would get us to the highest level in almost 4 months. And then you got the miners, which have a lot more work to do. They've confirmed the daily uptrend. Their weekly bounce is underway. But if gold gets to all-time highs, these leveraged miners are going to have some significant opportunity. Oil. Is this enough of a pivot to be a daily inverse head and shoulders confirming? Not for me. But bulls pleased to be continuing the bounce towards 81.75 resistance. I'm still viewing this as the same bounce. That to me is just 4-hour consolidation. It's not meaningful for me. It is a support level to be watching. But probabilities are increasing a bit for the potential of the weekly bull flag. Obviously, the more upside we see, the more that becomes the case. But there are often times where I'll just go down to the 2-day time frame to smooth things out a little bit. And we can see the lower high, lower low, and approaching resistance. That's just for me personally. If you want to call that a daily uptrend confirming, that's fine. I personally would not. In natural gas, not much going on today, trying to keep the bounce going. And then again, we know once we top out, we must confirm the daily uptrend. It's doing its megaphone thing and trying to follow through from the bounce off megaphone support. So again, it's very important that we do not lose ourselves to the emotional shifts in this market because they are significant in the last month of trading. We got to let those prices dictate things. And again, it's just we're going to get a whole bunch of information in September for what to look for in Q4. And as a trader, what I would like to see is a weak dollar, metals, gold heading towards all-time highs, stocks heading toward all-time highs. But I'm also going to be watching for signs that that is not shaping up. And every single day, we're going to get more information as far as dictating probabilities of which of those scenarios is most likely. Congrats to the bulls on the day. We're going to look for daily higher lows as a result of next consolidation. Aggressive bulls are going to look for hourly higher lows on names like NVDA, Tesla, MARA. And now it's just a question of how long can bulls maintain the daily uptrend. Appreciate you watching. Do good things. Going to talk about bag holding.
Transitioning the garden a bit for the fall. I just planted some broccoli and onions here as the kale's on its way out, getting eaten by the caterpillars. Overgrown melons. Planted a bunch more greens here, kale and amaranth and bok choy and things like that. And some more stuff over here as well. I don't even remember, but it'll pop up and then I'll remember. Getting ready for the season to change. The leaves are starting to fall. Looking forward to crisp, cool fall weather.